Hello, my name is Nancy Hutt and I'm the Subject Officer for GCSE English Language in England. I'm here today to tell you about the new WJEC Eduqas specification in GCSE English Language. This specification is Ofqual accredited and is for first teaching from September 2015 and for first award in September 2017. Eduqas is a new brand from WJEC which provides schools with newly reformed Ofqual regulated GCSEs, AS and A-levels in England. WJEC has developed the Eduqas brand to help schools clearly distinguish between legacy qualifications and reformed qualifications in England. The Eduqas philosophy is that learners come first. There are no tricks, and examination papers and marking schemes are designed to ensure learners can demonstrate what they know, understand and can do, and are rewarded for this. Each question in the examination papers focuses on specific language skills, and we have a very experienced examining team and a proven track record of successfully setting unseen material in external assessment. We hold face-to-face examiner conferences to ensure all examiners are trained to a high standard and can apply the mark scheme consistently. We also pride ourselves on our personal and friendly support from specialist subject experts and our support staff. There are key changes to be aware of when first preparing to teach the new GCSE English Language qualification. This new GCSE will be 100% examination, requires students to answer questions on unseen 19th, 20th and 21st century texts, has spoken language skills assessed, but this assessment will not contribute to the overall grade. It will allocate 20% of the marks of the written exams to technical accuracy. It will be untiered, graded from 9 to 1, with 9 being the highest, be fully linear with assessments available in the summer series, and there will be a November resit series for candidates 16 or over. For centres following a 2-year course, first teaching of the new GCSE in English Language will be in September 2015, and the first overall qualification award will be in 2017. Please note that the last award of the current specifications will be in the summer of 2016, with a resit opportunity in November 2016. The Eduqas GCSE English Language qualification is made up of 3 components. Component 1 and Component 2 are written examinations, and Component 3 is non-exam assessment. In Component 1, Section A, learners are required to respond to questions on one extract of literature from the 20th century. In Section B, learners are asked to write a narrative or recount drawn from a selection of 4 titles. Component 1 is worth 40% of the overall qualification. Component 2 is our non-fiction paper. In Section A, learners are required to respond to questions on 2 non-fiction extracts, one from the 19th century and one from the 21st century. In Section B, learners are given 2 compulsory transactional persuasive writing tasks to complete. This component is worth 60% of the qualification. This slightly higher weighting on Component 2 reflects the importance of the necessary functional skills learners will need in the wider world. Component 3 is non-exam assessment and unweighted in the overall qualification. This component assesses learners' spoken language skills through one presentation or speech. Spoken language will be reported on as part of the qualification, but it will not form part of the final mark and grade. Assessment objectives for the new GCSE English Language qualification are split into 3 key areas: reading, writing and spoken language. The assessment objectives clearly set out the overall aims and objectives of the qualification. There are 4 assessment objectives for reading, ranging from the more straightforward identification of explicit information and ideas to the more complex critical evaluation of texts. Examination papers will include a range of question types to reflect the range of candidates who will take this untiered qualification. For example, some questions will require short responses or lists, while some will require extended responses. Each reading question in our Eduqas specification targets a specific assessment objective. Please note the skills of synthesis and comparison are only assessed in Component 2, as these require candidates to consider more than one text. There are two writing assessment objectives. AO5 requires candidates to write to a range of purposes and audiences, communicating and organising their ideas effectively. AO6 focuses on technical accuracy and control and use of vocabulary. The importance of accurate spelling, punctuation and grammar is reflected in the Ofqual requirement that AO6 must constitute 20% of the marks for the English language specification as a whole. This is an example of the marking grid for the writing tasks in Component 2. Up to 12 marks are awarded for AO5 and up to 8 marks are awarded for AO6, illustrating the importance of technical accuracy in the new GCSE English Language qualification. Spoken language, the new name for speaking and listening, consists of 3 assessment objectives which require candidates to demonstrate presentation skills in a formal setting, listen and respond appropriately to questions, and to use standard English. The following slides give some examples of sample questions. The full range of sample questions can be found in our Eduqas English Language sample assessment materials on the Eduqas website. As stated previously, all our reading questions target a specific assessment objective. The question here, list 5 reasons why Obed Ramotswe went to South Africa, targets learners' ability to identify explicit and implicit information and ideas. The following question on the 20th century extract, how does the writer make these lines tense and dramatic, is an example of a more challenging question. This type of question requires learners to consider language and structure, specifically targeting AO2. In Component 1, Section B, the choice of 4 creative prose writing titles promotes accessibility and allows learners across the ability range to show what she or he can do. In Component 2, 19th and 21st century texts have been paired to provide engaging opportunities for the changes in attitudes and perspectives across these centuries to be explored productively. The sample question here requires candidates to synthesise information from 2 texts. There is no need for candidates to compare the texts. Synthesis requires learners to select appropriate evidence from more than one text and summarise this evidence in their response. The final question on Component 2 targets Assessment Objective 3 and requires candidates to compare writers' ideas and perspectives, as well as how these are conveyed across 2 texts. This sample question includes bullet points, which helps the candidates to structure their response and consider both the writer's attitude to waste and how these attitudes are expressed. This slide includes sample tasks for Section B of Component 2. Here, the sample tasks require learners to write a report and to write an article. In both cases, the purpose and the format of the tasks are clearly defined. 2 tasks have been set to provide opportunities for candidates to demonstrate that they are adapting tone, style and register for different forms, purposes and audiences. We understand how important it is to support teachers as you embark on teaching the new GCSE and English Language qualification, and a full range of resources will be available, including endorsed textbooks and interactive resources, teacher guides, units of work to use in the classroom, and exemplar responses to sample assessment material. Further support is available via our e-bulletins, the IE online magazine, our online exam review materials, and our CPD training materials, to name but a few. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. Please don't hesitate to contact the GCSE English team if you have any questions at all. The email addresses and the telephone numbers are provided on the screen.